Hi, this is Adam from Small Town Machine Shop, and we have our hand in front of the camera. Okay, we have another plastic welding job to do on this Briggs gas tank. Came off one of those leaf blowers, you know, with the big fan in front of it. Customer brought it in. The thing had been sitting in his trailer for a while, and it had one of his mowers had his guys forgot to set the brake, and it slid forward and damaged some things, and he noticed this. He thinks the corner of the scag, because the box is off it, got it. And it is leaking. So we're going to fix it up for him. And there seems to be an interest in plastic welding, and I like to do it. So what we're going to use is the old, for this application, the Harbor Freight heat gun. I love this thing. It is a super awesome $15 investment. My only complaint with it is that it's on all the time when it's plugged in. I really wish I had an on-off switch. We have our filler rod. This is a HDPE tank, so this stuff will be fine for it. Not going to need any mesh. This isn't pressurized, and the hole's not that big, so we don't have to bridge any gaps. But you can use any kind of wire mesh that's steel, because obviously if it's plastic it would just melt. This stuff works okay. I like stuff with actually a little bit bigger hole in it, because you know you can push it more into the plastic. I also occasionally, on big things, like if this was like a structure, like a stress point, not like a pressure vessel, but like a stress point where the tank was being held on 2 points, I've actually taken these staples and I'll push them through, if I can get to the other side, and melt whack the plastic over these as a more reinforcement. You can actually, on those type, next time I get a job like that, I'll show you. You can actually heat these and cut them off, you know, just enough to go through. Heat them up with a pair of needle, holding them a pair of needle nose, and just push them into the plastic. That'll really add a lot of strength. You can, I've welded, let's see if I have one here. Okay. Like for reinforcing riding mower chutes, which I have one coming in this week, so I'll show you that plastic welding video too. You know, you can put a washer anywhere you want it on here and just melt it in and blend it in. You know, like let's say, okay, like the fuel spout. Let's say it was all cracked out of there. You could just plastic weld it. You could also take a washer with a big enough hole and go over there and blend it in. So there's lots of options for fixing stuff and reinforcing them. There's still water in this. Okay, again, be mindful you are applying heat to a gas tank. Make sure you remove all the old gas. What I do is I didn't rinse them out. I dump all the old gas out, put it out in the sun, let it air dry till it's completely dry. Fill it with water, shake it around, dump it out, let that evaporate, and do that a couple times. And just be mindful that you're using a heating device on a gas tank. I know it's just a mower thing, but you know, just take the time to do it safely. So, now that I got my filler rods wet, we'll get set up here. We'll stitch this guy back together real quick. It is a little, whatever hit it, indented it a little bit. And I tried to get in here. The tube spout goes in about this far. So I kind of just squeezed it a bit. It's a lot better. It still catches. When it came in, it was down there more. And what I did is I took my blowgun on my air compressor, wrapped the shop rag around it, and blew air in here. And that was just a little enough to pop that out with blocking that off. Okay, I'll get you set up. Let's fix this tank. Okay, so we got set up, got the heat gun warming up. Now, if this was thicker, like that last gas tank I did for that scag, I would normally take my heat gun and warm the area beforehand. But that scag gas tank was almost 3/8 thick. So that's why I did that there. This is relatively thin. So we almost want to just keep the heat in here. And then we'll kind of blend it out, you know, kind of preheat the air just with the torch, a little area. Again, this is a non-pressurized vessel. It has a vented cap. So we get our torch. So you guys can see all right. See how hot we're getting. It should very easily, see, it's still not quite hot enough. Very cleanly and with very little friction, wipe across that. And then I just have a piece of wood next to me, that bin, for cleaning the residue that will build up on it. Okay, there we go, see? That's melting in there. Just wiping it. So, first thing I'm going to do, take the crack there, on the bottom side here, just kind of straighten it up here. Let me zoom you guys in a bit here so you can watch the magic that's about to be worked. Okay, so nice straight groove. And actually, sometimes if these tanks are thick enough, you can just weld them themselves. I'm gonna put little swirls in there. The whole length of it. Flatten it off. Now let's start. Again, what I do, I take the edge, kind of feed it down. You're pushing the plastic, you're taking like a little wafer bite, pushing it down in there. And remember, at the beginning, it's not going to look pretty, because the stuff is kind of all coming up to temperature, it's all kind of doing its own thing. Okay, so we fed in one bead. Let me get a little bit on this side. Bead, as it were. Again, you'll get used to this technique. Just peeling the way from the rod into the hole. Okay. I'm going to go kind of take off any high spots. And if at any point the tank starts to look really, it'll get really, really glossy when it's getting overheated. Kind of see how that's in the middle here? See how it's kind of shinier? That's where it's really warm. We don't want to overheat it, especially the thinner it is. You can still plastic weld really thin plastic gas tanks. Okay. Now looking at that, I can tell you that that is sealed already. But see how it's low in through here? Let's preheat the area a little bit. You always want to preheat. Let's feed in some more. Let it sit. Just wipe it in there. And the good thing about this being plastic, if you're not perfectly straight down the crack, you can always pull it in there. And guys, this does not take a lot of practice. Okay. Now kind of blend it. Some of you might be asking, well, what's the shop rate for welding this plastic gas tank for this customer? Surely that could be purchased for much less than what you're going to charge. Well, it's Tuesday at 5:15. He needs this mower tomorrow. He discovered this 2 hours ago. His mower will be back operational tomorrow morning. When you can do that for a customer, you know, That's big in the commercial mowing world. So, and again, I set this up so I could film it and stuff, but look how little this took. That will hold. That will 100%, I know that is sealed. So what did it take me? I could have done this in 10 minutes. So, but we're gonna do one more pass here. You see it's pretty flush. It's not so deep right there. We'll do one more and blend it. I think that will probably be it. Again, preheat a little bit. Feed some in there. Push down on the rod. So it's not like TIG where you're feeding into the heat. You're putting the heat on top of the rod and forcing it down. Okay, that should bring us plenty within height. Now we're going to do some finishing work here. Just smooth it down. I like to use kind of fast strokes so you don't, you get this hot enough, it'll push right through this tank. Sometimes you'll have to, let everything with the soldering iron cool a little bit. I'm going to do a full video here, probably sometime in July, of all the stuff I do for plastic welding. Again, I don't do a super lot of it, but I do it. Kind of blend this in, bring it down. And of course, the repair area is always going to be shinier and you'll always be able to notice it. But it's a gas tank on a mower, or it's a hydraulic reservoir. It's, we're not going to put this thing in a car show. Set this down. Bring just that little spot right there down. There we go. That is fully bonded. I'm 100% confident in that repair. So, unplug the torch. And you can sand this. If you do it a little high, there's nothing wrong with sanding it if you really were that concerned with it. Let me see if you can. As you can see, it's starting to get it's not much higher than the rest of the tank. One little blob right there. I'll probably knock off to there. Okay. We'll fill her with water and check how we did. I'll bring you back. Okay, we're back from testing it full water. The table is now covered in water now, and it is 100% good to go. Now, as you see, the original crack was really thin, and I went about this wide. The thinner the tank, the wider I like to go. In case it's really thin and really soft, you don't want a really hard, stiff area cutting through it. You want to kind of spread it out as much as you can. So the rule I use is the thicker the tank, the thinner you can repair it. Something stuck to me there. This is 100% ready to go. Came out super nice. Just need to blow it out real quick. The customer is coming to pick it up tonight, and he is extremely ecstatic that that mower was only down for about 5 hours. It'll be where that blower is. So yeah, very cool. Didn't take long at all. And again, you could scuff that up or, do that, but it's pretty flush already. And there's one, we did 3 or 4 passes, and that's plenty. So yeah, very cool. When I get that blower tube in, I will show you that, because we're going to reinforce that guy with a washer. So I'll show you how to reinforce stuff. And then that'll be a long video. I'll do a whole big thing on different ways to do plastic welding for reinforcement purposes, reinforcement repairs. This is just sealing. When I reinforce stuff, it's a little different. So yeah, this is Adam from Small Town Machine Shop. Please comment, like, and subscribe, and thanks for watching.